kind of grew up in the church. I was raised in it, and before I was actually in church, I would do like Bible studies with my grandma in the living room. And eventually, my mom remarried, and he had 3 kids, and she wanted to go to church. So I was like, let's do it. I'm down. So then we went to Broadmoor, and that was 13 years. 13 years as a member over there, and then I had a great time. Have a lot of memories over there. Did a lot of work, a lot of ministry work. I was part of CCYM and DCYM, which is District Council Youth Ministries, and City Council Youth Ministries. While I was in youth group, we would help run retreats and kind of do that such. But as far as the relationship with God, you're going to find this quite interesting. But I was named by Jesus in a dream. My mother had a dream along with my grandmother. They both had a dream of Jesus coming to them and said his name shall be Joshua. And kind of to backtrack from that, before I was born, it was kind of gruesome. I wasn't really wanted, in a sense, by my father. It was a very, very evil way that it happened. Not PG-13, let's just put it that way. Yes turns into no. And, well, here I am now, because she called her mom, my grandmother, and she was just like, okay, well, your dad's at the airport getting you a ticket right now, so you can come back home. This was in Virginia, coming to Louisiana. So then she just straight up came on down, and then had me, just had faith in Jesus. And the night before I was born, they still had no clue what they were going to name me. It was all sprung up, like nothing, nobody knew what was going on. And, well, anyways, my grandmother and my mom both had a dream with Jesus in it. And Jesus said, his name shall be Joshua. And then he told my grandmother, his name will be Joshua. And they both met in the middle of the hallway and said, I know what his name is going to be. And they were just so blinded by the fact that they knew what the name was, and they didn't even think, second guess how they got the name until I came into the world. And then kind of grew up how I grew up, very religious, very faithful in my Lord. After my mom passed, he kind of came to me, and I always told myself I would never ask God why, because he knows why. But then when my mom passed, all I had was why? And then I started thinking about it more, and I was like, well, why did his son die on the cross? You know, he died for the sin of the world, not just Christianity or religion. He died for the people that would have faith in him and believe in him. And then that kind of helped me, and I started reading the Bible a little bit more. And it says that the Lord is closest to those who are brokenhearted and crushed in spirit. And at that moment in time, I was, questioning everything. But then I just held on to it, and I was like, all right, just hang on to it. It's going to work out just fine, Like, just like I told her, everything's going to be okay. Then I just had a vision of talking to a bunch of people. Like, just over a bunch of people, talking, preaching. I was like, I'm going to do that. So then I started studying a little bit of theology and ministry, even though I kind of knew a little bit of it, but not on a deeper level of understanding. So that's what kind of drove me towards that. So now I'm trying to work my way up to be a pastor. Kind of like Kenan, an elder pastor is the role that I'm going for. A lot of trials that I got to go through to get there, though, but it's going to work out just fine. So I have to say that my calling would be probably to be a pastor now. So the reason I'm here now is because at first I was at Broadmoor, and I've seen 3 pastors my entire time being over there. First was Fred Weidman, amazing pastor. And then Lee Allen had a tremendous impact on me as well, great pastor. And then Donnie Wilkinson joined with Kenan. And I had a connection with Kenan for some reason. I don't know what it was. He reminded me so much of Fred Weidman. Because, like, when he preaches, it's just like, you can tell the Holy Spirit's in him, and the Holy Spirit's speaking through him. It's not just that notepad in his hand. Found out where Kenan was preaching. I was like, well, I like Kenan's preaching style. I'm going to go over there and check it out, see how it is. And literally the first day, I told Kenan, I was like, hey, I'm ready to be a member. I was like, let's do it. And he was like, awesome. Do you want to think about it? No, I've already thought about it. I'm ready. But when I got here, I had, it was like a void that I had filled. Because, like, I wasn't going to church, dealing with my mom and everything. So that was the biggest part of it. And I was like, well, let me text Kenan. So I had Kenan. Kenan was actually the one that did my funeral for my mother. And I was like, well, I'm going to go check out his church, too. And this was, I think I came the first Sunday after my mom passed. So it was kind of fresh. But I sat in the front and I was like, I'm a front row baby. You know what I mean? I was like, they're going to know I'm here. And it's just stuff that you got to deal with in life. You know, life is hard. And Kenan talks about being the glow sticks of the world. I love that analogy because, like, not only is it true, it's like life is hard and it breaks you and shakes you to glow. You know, and that's exactly what people go through on a day-to-day basis, no matter how big or small it is. It's still something that it's gonna work out in the end. Go with the wave. You know, you're gonna deal with emotions. It's inevitable. But treat the emotions like ocean waves. You got the big ones, you got the little ones. Eventually, they find their way to shore, and then they can walk. You know, just trust. Keep moving.